Welcome back. You're watching Storyboard. In the lead up to Netcore CNBC TV 18 MarkTech Marathon 12x25, we are speaking to a few marketers who use tech in their marketing efforts in today's complex world. And speaking of tech, video streaming platform Hotstar, along with Akamai Technologies, set a global streaming record on Akamai platform for the recently held Vivo Indian Premier League held in India for the match between Chennai Super Kings and Kolkata Knight Riders on 10th of April 2018. Viewership for the game peaked at a whopping 5.5 million concurrent viewers. This is the largest on Akamai platform for any live sporting event in the world and the largest for any single event online by a broadcaster. On the heels of this stunning achievement, we speak to Ajit Mohan, CEO Hotstar, and Parimal Pandya, Vice President Media Division Asia Pacific and Japan, Akamai Technologies, about the overall success of IPL on Hotstar as a platform.
Ajit, Parimal, thank you for talking to me.
Ajit,
have you managed to get any sleep?
Sunday was a big high, but 2 days later, I think we have managed to catch up on the sleep.
So give me the headlines. Why was it a big high?
We finished the tournament off on a big high. Over the course of the 6 weeks or so, more than 200 million people came to Hotstar to watch the Vivo IPL, and we crossed a milestone in terms of the most number of simultaneous users on any event globally, which was 10 million. I think it was sort of this marker that had not been crossed by any streaming platform ever, and I think being the first to cross it, breaking sort of this glass ceiling, was obviously a big high for us.
Right. So tell me, what does it imply about the changing Indian consumer? What is your take out on that?
I think a few things, Anand. Clearly, it is the coming to age of mobile video. Right. Both as a very meaningful screen for consumers, as well as a very, very relevant primary marketing vehicle for advertisers. And in my mind, a few things have gone into kind of creating this moment. One, of course, the massive explosion in access to affordable mobile broadband.
Right.
I think first Jio and then the other telcos have really changed the context of mobile in the last 3 years. And for a lot of consumers, mobile video is increasingly the first use case for using data.
Right.
So I think that's one. Second, the huge followership of cricket and Vivo IPL in particular. And I think one of the things that we have done, we have had IPL for the last 4 years. And every year, we believe we have kind of introduced new experiences for consumers. And this year in particular, I think we were very focused on dramatically changing the experience of IPL on Hotstar. And we did a few things. One of the biggest things was we introduced a game where fans could come in and play a game where they were predicting what was going to happen on the next ball, even as they were watching the video. Equally, we introduced probably one of the first real social TV experiences on a big sporting event where fans could express their emotion and react to what was happening on the match. So I think the fact that there was a completely different experience on Hotstar, different from broadcast, in my mind, provided this massive invite for fans of cricket and IPL. And lastly, one of the things that we are quite conscious of is that this is a very young country. The average age is about 26. And I think over the last 4 years, we have been relentless in trying to communicate to the young audience in a way that resonates with them. And I think the power of that communication has really helped as well. So I think it's all three coming together to mark this huge moment.
Right. Parimal, it's like Intel inside your Akamai inside,
exactly,
inside Hotstar. So tell me, what are you doing to help Ajit's consumers have a better experience and want to embrace watching it on a smartphone rather than on TV?
Right. Well, firstly, let me say, it's been a very exciting month and a half for both of us, and we're really proud of what we've been able to achieve together. And to your point, deliver a near broadcast quality experience, as well as a broadcast level scale now, if I may, to consumers in India. To your point, yes, we are the ones who are behind the scenes making a lot of these consumer-facing capabilities possible. And we take a lot of pride in that because, years and years of innovation is what goes into bringing these experiences possible. So the first things first, it takes massive amount of scale, planning, infrastructure, and technology.
How closely do you have to work with Hotstar during this whole process?
Very closely. In fact, one of the things that I give credit to Ajit and his team is that our teams are very closely intertwined insofar as our strategy for the future, planning for the capabilities we want to roll out, and the scale we want to deliver. And I think I would say that is one of the single biggest reasons why we've been able to deliver on sort of the path and the trail that Ajit and the team have been blazing. So, besides scale, we talked about the experience being broadcast level, and that's a huge differentiator. That's what's going to drive the consumer to shift from television to a mobile screen when they know they can get the quality, and now at the same latency. So, for example, if there's a wicket on television, you don't have to wait for 10 seconds to see the same event happen on your phone. You can watch it live, which is also what enables the game. Because if you're going to predict what's going to happen in the next ball, the delay has to be the same, if I may. And that's a huge difference.
Or the lack of delay.
The lack of delay, for that matter. Other experiences when you're playing the game, you want the interaction to be near instant, right? And again, there's a lot of technology that goes back behind the scenes to make it possible. So again, to sum it up, it's about scale. It's about delivering scale at a very high quality with high availability so that the user has a great experience. And then it's about enabling these features by way of some of the capabilities that I just talked about, right. That really makes it an attractive proposition for the user to shift from what is a very unilateral sort of one-on-one interaction to a very social, interactive experience on a mobile device and through an app like Hotstar.
Ajit, finally, IPL is only 45 days in a 365-day year, or whatever, 60 days in a 365-day year. So what are the other use cases you see for getting on people like Akamai, and you plug the other 305 days of the year? I think that's your next task. Anyway.
No, absolutely, and an event like this provides huge highs. But the choice that we always made, Anand, was to create a streaming service that brought together the best stories from around the world: TV shows, movies, live sports, now news, both local and international content. And I think consumers have embraced that proposition, that it's cricket, but it's not just cricket. And for us, one is sort of, bring this really compelling portfolio of stories and take it to larger and larger audiences in India. Second is, technology is quite at the heart of everything we do. So we have been relentless in terms of building technology capabilities at Hotstar. And really what that means is, how do we use that to create new experiences? So, for example, the success of the game around IPL is something we are taking to TV shows as well.
Right.
We're about to launch one of the first big interactive quiz show, working with Star Plus next week, Sabse Smart Con, which launches on Monday next week. And the idea is to learn from everything that worked about the watch and play game, this IPL, and take it beyond sports. And I think that is at the heart of what we're doing. Use technology to create entirely new experiences for consumers. And lastly, we do think there's a tremendous opportunity which has opened up in the last couple of years to really use mobile video to bring people online. The stories that we have are familiar. There is no barrier in terms of language, whether it's a TV show or a movie or a sport. These are stories that Indians have been familiar with for a long time. And we still think Hotstar is a very powerful vehicle to bring people online. And I think that's the focus for the next few months and years.
Right. Though you're in the B2B business fundamentally, Parimal, you have to understand, I'm sure, what the consumer wants. So do you spend time talking to consumers or to, say, FMCG brands and so on and so forth, trying to figure out what they want out of, the Ajits of the world?
Absolutely. In fact, a very personal anecdote, I have a lot of young nephews and nieces, and I'm very keen to observe sort of what are their usage behaviors, or where are they leaning to sort of, read where the general population is headed. But at the same time, we work extensively with some of the biggest brands across the globe in the internet space, in the technology space, especially consumer internet. And we take a lot of pride in bringing out innovations to enable the next generation of capabilities for folks like Hotstar, but also across the globe. And so to answer your question, yes, I mean, we follow the trends very closely. We're very closely engaged with our customers. And the one thing that I like to say is we sort of have the front row seat to what's going to happen next, right? And it's not just now.
Can you expand on that? Expand on the front row seat.
I mean, we work with some of the most innovative tech companies or consumer-facing brands that you might know across the globe. And when they are looking to launch that next new capability, that next new feature that's going to be their differentiator, they look to Akamai to figure out how A, we can enable, and B, we can deliver at a scale to mass audiences. Right. And that essentially tells us, and that kind of planning happens months, if not years before. And so, we're often privy to some of the most exciting new capabilities that we know are going to come out, but obviously we can't talk about it for a long time. But yeah, we do have a front row seat into some of the most exciting developments in tech, and especially consumer-facing tech. And we take a lot of joy and pride in being the ones who make it possible.
Ajit, a few hours after, Star won the IPL bid at 16,347.5 crores. That's a number embedded in my head. I interviewed him, and he was extremely confident that that number is a reachable number. Now you speak about, Parimal talked about shifting audiences. Now, because you own all the rights, you don't care too much about where the audience shifts as long as the audience is with you. So tell me, how do you see the shifting of the audiences from the TV to a phone?
I think two things are happening. One, when we do look at the numbers, one thing that's very clear is the viewership that we are seeing on Hotstar is additive to what we are seeing on television. If you look at the overall consumption over the last 4 years, Hotstar is incrementally adding to the overall audience pool. So I would not see this as a shift so much as we are expanding followership of IPL in a very consequential way, and it makes sense. We are expanding the screens. If people are not at home, they can easily switch to Hotstar. There's a gaming experience on Hotstar. So I think we are adding.
Do you get involved in stuff like the gaming experience and so on?
Yes. I mean, like I said, when we talk about the roadmap of where
so you know where he's going or where he wants to go. Right?
Absolutely. And that conversation starts well ahead of time.
Sure. Yeah, and so I think those experiences bring in audiences who may not have come in otherwise. So I think it's very additive. The second part is from and something that you follow quite closely, Anand, from a marketeer's point of view, I think the opportunity to leverage both television and mobile, multiple screens at the same time, is very powerful. And I think that's the big shift that's happening, where a lot of the early digital spend was characterized by focus on short form content or short form ads, and I think this really marks a moment where mobile has really become mainstream, and I think a lot of marketers that I speak to, they really like the power of reaching very engaged audiences on mobile. The screen may be small, but you are reaching people who are paying attention, and the minute you connect the dots between TV and mobile, you're able to create ad formats that really didn't exist either in the broadcast world or in the first generation of digital. So I think the story is quite exciting. I think it is expanding the universe for fans of cricket and for audiences in general, and it's dramatically expanding the canvas for marketers.
Okay, fine. I'm going to close with asking both of you the same question. Give me your dream headline for this segment on the show. What's your headline? And I want a headline from you as well. How would you like to see the show starting? What should the headline be? I'm
not as good as you at creating a headline on the fly, but if there are two big messages for me, I think one is a tremendous source of pride that it's a service in India that is setting benchmarks for the world. And second, I think it does mark, to repeat Parimal, a watershed moment for mobile as a very powerful marketing tool.
Parimal, your headline?
I would say, we joke about it, but we almost broke the internet. To serve 10.3 million concurrent viewers, simultaneous viewers at the same time, is as close as we'll ever come, at least in today's time, to breaking the internet. So we're very excited about it and very pleased for having been a part of it.
Perfect. Thank you, Ajit. Thank you, Parimal.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Thanks for watching and we'll be back same time next week. See you soon.